Yes, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Just been hanging on while Jay and Joe have been wrapping up over on the fan channel. So, bit of teamwork. Everyone moaning in the comments, where have you been? Why are you waiting? I've been waiting for them, man. A little bit of teamwork involved here, isn't there? So let them finish, and then I'll crack on here. I think that was an absolute throwback game. I really enjoyed the game, in all honesty, and I think the weather helped it to a certain degree. I think the pitch conditions helped it to a certain degree. I think the fans helped it to a certain degree. It was an absolute throwback game. There was a bit of spice to it. And as I said, I did an explainer video explaining the United and Leeds rivalry. So if you've not seen it, you can have a go look at that. I was quite impressed with how everyone took to today's game. Everyone treated it in the correct manner. It felt like it mattered, and I think far too often, I said this in that video, I think there's too much of a people want to get along. Well, tribalism, rivalry, opposition, they're all the things that make the wins sweeter. If you win against someone you don't care about, it doesn't mean anything. If you win against your biggest rivals, it gives you a spring in your step, doesn't it? That's why the Manchester derby is such a big one. You're going to work the next day, if you work with City fans, and rub their noses in it, and vice versa. If you lose one, your phone's blowing up, and people are like, "Oh, can't wait to see you tomorrow." And that's what makes these games. If no one cares about each other, everyone's all friendly and all that crap. The way West Ham and City can't wait to fucking touch each other's tails, like that. Nah, no, thank you. Let's just fucking bring back fucking hating people. That was a classic Premier League game today. And in the true mode of a classic Premier League game, there was utter carnage in the game. The goal from Rodrigo, did he mean it? Did he not? Doesn't matter. It's flown in the top corner and they all count, don't they? We scored from a corner, which we did speak about in the preview, actually, saying that Leeds are susceptible to corners. And we probably could have got more if we'd have ended up with more corners, I think, because it was a matter of time. It was a good game to watch. If this had been the first ever game that you'd have watched, you'd have been like, yeah, I'm coming back for this. This was good. This isn't a game that's going to turn people off. This was a proper advert, I thought. Real big open game, end to end, which Leeds set up like that anyway, don't they? Like, you play against your Burnleys and that, and they're always going to try and defend and hold on tight. Leeds don't do that. They try and do what they're trying to do, and to a fault at times. If he had a plan B, he might be dangerous, Bielsa. Because if plan A is not working, well, he's just going to keep trying plan A. There's big challenges in the game, big sliding tackles. Again, that's a little bit on the weather as well, isn't it? Some proper Sunday League style tackles going in there. But let's talk about some of the players then, because I think there's a lot to get down here on some of the players. First one to talk about, Jadon Sancho, aka Jason Sanchez. I thought this game was going to suit him because of the open nature of the way Leeds like to play their game. The way Leeds like to play, they leave you room. It's a transitional game. It's back and forth. It's almost like a game of basketball. Attacking, defend, attacking, defend, attacking, defend. And when a game's like that, you're going to get gaps and you're going to get space and you're going to find that it's open. And it's the antithesis of the games against the likes of Burnley. You're going to have space to run into, and you're going to be able to overlap, and you're going to be able to underlap, and you're going to be able to run with the ball. And that suits Jadon Sancho down to the ground. It's almost like a throwback to being back in Germany for him, playing in the Bundesliga. And I thought he thrived on it. 2 assists, varying degrees of difficulty for them, a beautifully chipped ball for the first, and a very simple run around for the other, which Fred absolutely obliterated into the net. Fair play to him. Watching it, just screaming Fred, just confused, as if Fred's hit that. Really pleased with the run from Victor Lindelof. Adventurous and getting forward. You can do that. People forget. There's 3 options when you get in possession. You can pass, you can dribble, or you can shoot. Now, for centre-halves, shooting is usually not a good option. Passing's what they do almost 100% of the time. But sometimes driving with the ball forces a midfield to come and deal with you. If everyone's man-marked and you run into an area with the ball, you make someone make a decision. Do they stay with the man that they think they're with, nice and tight, or do they come down and close you down? And if everyone's moving while you do that, someone has just found space. Someone has just found themselves open. And I think that's the move, is to sometimes go and check that out and go and see if you can put somebody under pressure, and if you can make a move that opens up a gap somewhere else. And his run was great. And he followed it up. And he ended up helping to create a goal. He doesn't get the assist, but he gets the credit for a job well done. I thought Paul Pogba didn't necessarily agree or disagree with the sub. I thought he slowed down, and I think that was why Ralph pulled him, to be honest. I think in the first half of the game especially, and even flashes in the second half, but it had become less frequent before he took him off, I think he was just showing his quality. In the first half especially, some of the stuff that you're doing, you're just purring, you're just making noises at the telly, you're just going, oh, what is he doing? And this is the frustration of Paul Pogba, because he's always had that. That's never been in doubt, for me at least anyway, what Paul Pogba can bring. I'll say it 1,000 times, and I'll say it again. It's just the circus around him, isn't it? He don't want to be here, so fucking launch him. And we'll miss that ability, because that ability is not easy to find. The level of ability that Paul Pogba can bring is a difficult thing for you to find. But he's shown it today, and he played really well. A lot of people questions the sub. Oh, what are you taking Pogba off and bringing fucking Fred on for? But how good was Fred? Ethan, who does the commentary for the Paddock games, was in there watching with us. And he was taking a piss a little bit, but I think he might have had a little bit of a point in what he was saying. And he was like, Fred's been man of the match since he came on. And to be fair to him, Fred was very effective. Fred, who brings energy against a tired Leeds defence, actually was fairly effective. And of all the people you want to shoot, I think I'm above Fred on that list. But what a finish. What an absolute finish that was. Lingard, non-existent performance from him. Bruno was a strange performance. Very emotional performance from Bruno, but gets a goal, gets an assist. Is that just Bruno in a nutshell? That somehow walks away from a game where, if you take away the goal and an assist, didn't create a whole lot, didn't do a whole lot, pretty ordinary decision making, but he got a goal and assist, which you can't take away. He's a strange character in him, Bruno, and he's an enigma. And do you take away the goals and the assists, and try to analyse his performance just as it was, or do you acknowledge that outside of goals and an assist, he's quite a frustrating player? But you can't take away the goals and assists. Goals and assists literally impact games, and that's the crack. I've got Leicester and Wolves on here. I believe Neves has just scored a screamer from outside of the box. I must be behind you because it's still 0-0 on my telly, so I'm going to watch it here. Ball's on the right-hand side. It's come back into the middle. Moutinho's hit one across field. This smells like it could be on here now. Ball's on the left-hand side. Cleared. He's set back to him, and he's fucking buried it. What a goal. I fucking love him. I'm taking him headband and all. What a player. What a fucking player. Connor says, Steve, can we see the game? We can see the game off the framed jersey. Might want to fix that. Why? It's accidental, isn't it? Well, there you go. So yeah, look, it's accidental. I'm not fucking doing it on purpose. Can't copyright claim me for it being mirrored off a fucking thingy, can you? Ross says, I said it many times, get Neves in. What a player he is. He's fucking mint, isn't he? He just hovers in them spots. So many times he hits them and they don't go in, to be fair. But, what's it? Will I be drinking a pint? Not today, no. I am driving. My sincere thoughts on Ronaldo. I thought he was anonymous today. I didn't think he was good. I didn't think he was good in the slightest today. But, it's one of those, isn't it? And Annie Rudd says, Steve, is it unfair that Lindelof will get dropped after the next game? He's so much better than Maguire, in my opinion. I agree. I absolutely agree. I think Lindelof and Varane should be United's go-to partnership. Outside of that, I just don't want to see Maguire in a shirt anymore. I can't believe what Merson said about him. Unbelievable. United aren't playing to his strengths. What the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean United aren't playing to his strengths? We shouldn't have to just play to his strengths. He should have strengths that add something to Manchester United. His strengths, you mean defending? I mean, yeah, today, Maguire was fine today, but ultimately, Fred was good when he came on. Doesn't mean I want him to start the next game. Do you know what I mean? And Wan-Bissaka, I didn't think Wan-Bissaka was good. Tim Sherwood coming out and talking all sorts of shit. Tom Rice says Merson is a top draw pillock. To be fair, I would absolutely concur with that one. I'm just going to shout through. But when I wrap up, I'm not wrapping up yet. I'm going to chat to you guys for quite a while, actually. But when I wrap up, there's a game that you need to go see. I'm just going to see how far away it is. Joe, how long? How long? Yeah, get it uploaded, yeah. By the time I wrap it up, text me the link, please, once you've done it. WhatsApp me the link once you've done it. Fitz11 with a super chat, thank you very much. He says, pitch in the second half was like an Asian rice field. It's a Singapore amount of money that he's dropped in, so you might know about Asian rice fields. I don't know about Asian rice fields, apart from what I've seen them. They do look a bit like they've got standing water on them. Is that the move? I don't know if that's the move. My knowledge of Asian rice fields, not so much. Blatt says, well done on calling us getting a goal from a set piece. Quite an obvious one, to be honest, because Leeds, the way Leeds set up their corners is quite frighteningly bad, in my opinion. They leave so many players like outside the box and are waiting for the shot that they don't protect the box enough. You've got to protect your box. And that's why I thought United had a chance. Abdullah with a super chat. He says, as bad as Maguire's been, do I think his goal today will improve him going forward? Also, the ref today was influenced too much by the home fans. No, I don't. Because like when he scored against, fucking hell, who was it? Bulgaria? Who did he score against? San Marino? Can't remember who he scored against. And he's fucking doing all this. And you're like, yeah, that's what we said, wasn't it? That you don't fucking score enough for England. Him scoring makes no impact. I don't care if he scores. That's an add-on. His bread and butter job is defending, and he's not good enough at it. And if United want to be a high-pressing team, you have to be able to get up to the halfway line, and he is a weakness at the halfway line. Albania, that was it, thank you. Why was Shaw so bad? Oh, I'm glad someone brought Luke Shaw up. Shaw, I thought, was fucking abysmal today. Absolutely abysmal. He leaves so many gaps. What he does on the ball and what he does off the ball are so entirely different. He's quite good on the ball. Off the ball, though, I don't understand him. I absolutely don't understand what he's all about. He switches off constantly. He isn't scanning, isn't aware of who's coming from behind him. Literally, your one fucking job as the last player is to just look around and see what the fucking hell's going on. See, I knew this would come. Stevie, why do you hate Luke Shaw? Why do you shag him? Like, what are you seeing that makes you go, do you know what? Yeah, I'll absolutely big him up. Are you not seeing the things that I'm factually talking about? He's a fucking lazy defender. He doesn't have a defender's instinct. And he's playing in a team that's now become a team that wants to play in the opposition half. You have to be someone with good defensive instincts. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to be able to play on the halfway line. So when you've got someone who's a lazy fuck like this, Eslabon says what Mourinho said about Shaw is so true. I think it is. Look, Mourinho was right, and he was also wrong about a lot of things, but this was one of the things he was right about. Fred was really good today. He says, go, stop, go. Yeah, I think he was as well, actually. Can't believe the 2 goals we conceded. Pure laziness, says the Reekser. I agree. Super chat here from Reese. He says Maguire was definitely given a kick up the arse. Reference to post-match interviews. 1, he was more upbeat. 2, personal liability. Said the right things. I missed it, you know. We did the rundown all that yesterday, and my camera was downstairs. So as he came on the telly, I had to go downstairs and get my camera. Can someone post me his quotes in here? If he's taking personal liability, that was literally what I see in my arse with, wasn't it? So that's nice for him to see. Jibak's got a super chat here, and he says, Shaw was bad, but Wan-Bissaka played the worst I've seen a defender play in 20 years of following football. What was all that about? I think he's still defensively... his positioning is still a little bit better than Shaw's, because he knows he can't do it going forward, so he don't even try. And he stays back, at least. So you're still going to have something out of him. Kent says, how good was Fred and Pogba on water like ducks? Yeah. I mean, the pitch was horrendous, wasn't it? It's been a minute since I've seen a Premier League pitch that's actually been affected by the weather. I don't even know when the last time it was. Jordan says, can I do a video on Shaw, show everyone a breakdown of what I'd expect him to do versus what he actually does? That might be worth looking into, actually. That might be worth looking into, to be honest. Airborne Fighter says, I don't know if Paul Pogba is going. The fact that he hasn't signed a contract and we're now near the back end of February and you don't think he's going? Come on, mate. Ross says, where was Lingard today? I thought you were poor. I think when you're a fringe player like this and you're given an opportunity to start semi out of the blue, you've got to come and grasp it with both hands. Fred's not really been seen properly for a while. Elanga came out of nowhere. Both of them guys are grabbing their opportunity at the moment. And whatever you think about them as players long term, you've got to be able to say, actually, not bad, to be fair. Michael says, Jadon Sancho showing his class today. Totally agree. Really good, solid performance. Who's my man of the match, says Fitz. Yeah, I think I would go with Sancho with you, to be honest, as well. I would go with Sancho, I reckon. Mank says the Stretford video is up. Right, I'm going to talk about United first before we finish this, but definitely after this, go check out the game that we had yesterday. Quarter-final of the Rhodes Cup, and we won 9-1. Probably some of the best football we've played. And actually, I've seen the edit. It doesn't really show it you, but the best performance from us was in the first 30 minutes, and we'd only scored one in the first 30. I think we just cooked them, and they were too tired to compete at the end. But 9-1, really fucking good showing from the lads. And I also think really good showing from our defence, which doesn't really show in the video, I don't think. MH says, Howson, what's with losing Leeds quickly because Atletico wouldn't let you be this careless? Atletico are different, Atletico are different. Right, let me just check for the super chat. Someone saying I've missed some super chat. Simon says, Lindelof for right back. We saw his quality on the ball today. Defensively disciplined, surely no worse than Wan-Bissaka and Delo. Not the worst idea I've heard. Don't think it'll happen though. It might be a better option because you'd get a more rounded performance out of him than you would get out of Delo or Wan-Bissaka. And again, I don't think he needs to be. I don't really think he shouldn't be dropped. Just fucking drop Maguire. When you look at the game, that's the way the game's going to be against Atletico Madrid. Maguire shouldn't be playing. Yeah. Hensel says that Jadon's really coming on nicely. Wan-Bissaka was good, to be fair. I can't agree that Wan-Bissaka was good, but Jadon is coming along nicely. Let me just go and check all the super chats, see if I got them all, because people saying I didn't. There's only 2 show up on it. I don't know what the crack is. Like, I'm literally on the YouTube back end, and there's only 2 showing, so apologies if I've missed any. I'll try and keep an eye out for any more. Best performance under Rangnick so far, says Melvin. Off the top of my head, yes. Nitin says, is third a possibility? I mean, yes, it's a possibility. Is it probable? I don't think so. I think we'll still be looking at coming in 4th place. Lee says, sounds a bit cheesy, but McTominay doing a bit of passion merchant helped a lot today. Sometimes you've got to be up for the fight in these games. And it was like an old school dive. Like I said at the start of the show, it's a throwback. It's an absolute throwback game today, and sometimes you've got to have a little bit of passion merchant in there. McTominay's a big lad, and when big lads can get physical and they can cut about the pitch the way he did, then you're going to have something in the mixer with him. Super chat there from Scott Smith. He says, Steve, been highlighting all of these issues with Shaw for years. Mind-boggling that there's still fans that defend him. It's people that don't know what the fuck they're looking at, mate. Tyler says, Maguire quote, embarrassing every time I saw the start, and I'm a big fan. I was a big part in that. As a team and a group, we've been nowhere near good enough. Set plays are a massive part of the game. All right, it's getting there, isn't it? Kamiyama says, Steve, thoughts on Elanga reacting to Leeds fans at full time? He's a United fan. And he wanted to shut him up. And sometimes, again, like when the fans turn up the way they did, I think sometimes you've got to allow the players to be that sort of passionate as well and get into it. And that's why we had a good game today, is because I think the players stepped up to the mark. We need 2 world-class fullbacks, says Kevin Fitch. You just need hard-working players that aren't just going to toss it off. That'd be a start. Alex says, the fact there's some people out there defending Shaw and Slabhead's shit defensive performances the last 6 months shows that some fans don't know what the fuck they're talking about. There's a lot of people like that. Ritush says, is Arsenal or Spurs a bigger threat for us for 4th position? I think Spurs. I get the impression Arsenal will fall away. And I don't necessarily have any evidence for that. I just got a gut feeling that I think they could fall away. I think Spurs have got quite a lot of quality within the squad that you would expect to rise up a little bit. But they've also dropped off at times when you don't expect them to. The game against City yesterday, I watched that and I thought they were really good in terms of... their discipline and being effective on the counter. And you don't often see a lot of that, you know. But they were really good at that. And maybe that's a Conte thing. Merlon says, can I please recommend some football books to develop a good football brain? I don't know if there's anything in. I don't know if there's any book that really sort of takes you through here's what you're supposed to do. Because they're kind of seen, it's almost like a book on how to tie your laces sometimes, isn't it? But maybe it is needed. Because so many people put so much emphasis on what you do on the ball because it's obvious, isn't it? I think people probably do need a little bit of explaining as to the nuance of what happens off the ball. Because the off the ball is, for me, the off the ball and your attitude to stuff so much more important than what you do on the ball. What you do on the ball, I don't really care about. Yes, it's flashy. Yes, that's the stuff that can win games. But invariably, it's what you do off the ball. For example, everyone's going to talk about Fred's finish today. And it was a great finish. But what was more important than the finish is the fact that he pushed himself to get into that position. He give it and he went. The give and go, the pass and move. These are the fundamental little basics in football that actually add up to so much. He moved the ball to Sancho. Sancho had the easiest little fucking knock to the side for it. But it was his desire to go and do the little run around and get on the other side of the ball, explode into space. That was impressive for me. That was really impressive for me. Sadji with a super chat says, Wan-Bissaka controls the ball too far from his legs, so he's always got to stretch for it. Bruno tracked well last 3 games, got the ball back for the 3rd goal today. Again, Bruno's gift and curse is that he's emotional. When you're emotional, sometimes it can lead you to have a bit of a passion merchant style game. Sometimes I think it boils over a little bit for him. Smithy says the reflection in the shirt's going to get me in trouble from Sky. Nah, I don't think it'll be all right. It's not that bad, is it? I mean, how obvious is it? I think you can barely see, can you? You can only just see it when it says goal or replay or something like that. Chelsea more likely to bottle it, says R10. Let's have a quick look at the league. Let's see where everyone's at. Chelsea are not in great form, it must be said. I think that's been updated. So yeah, United are in 4th. Chelsea got a game in hand on us and 4 points on us, so that could go to 7. West Ham now on level, 4 behind us. Arsenal got 3 games in hand. They could get up to 51 and theoretically go into 3rd. They're never going to win all 3 of those games, I don't think. Spurs also got 3 games in hand and could get 2 points ahead of us should they win all of their games in hand. Wolves currently winning. If they win the 1 game in hand, 2 games in hand on us that they've got, they could go level with us. It's tight like a tiger, isn't it? It's tight like a tiger. And Sam says, Chelsea, I've been noticing the TV mirror since years now. I don't often have the TV on while I'm doing videos usually. It's just when his match is on. That's literally the only reason I have the telly in here, to be honest, is just to watch football on it while I'm in here. That's one of the good things about BT is how much French league and stuff that's on here because I fucking love it. Screen says, are all the green and gold shirts shipped out? Not yet. But there's anyone that asked for a custom one, they're taking a bit of extra time because we're still waiting for the custom names and stuff to come to us. So they will be a little bit of an extra minute. But it's just my missus that's posting them out. So she's getting through about 50 or so a day, but there's 880 that we've got to sell or to send. Sorry, that have all been sold. So patience, and we will get them out to you, and we'll also be playing in them for the entirety of next season, and we probably wear them a couple times this year to finish them off. Paul Lucas says now we need to go on a run of games. I mean, if we go on a run of games, what a month we're in for. But that's the difficult thing, I think. Love says, any books on United's in-depth history? I think you've got to go and get each topic individually to get a good one on it. Like, if you want to know about the 80s, get K Sarah by Andy Mitten. If you want to know about the 60s, Roy Kavanagh's got an excellent one on the 60s. If you want to know about Munich, the day a team died, is probably the one to look into for that. You want to know about the 90s, you might want to pick up a Fergie one, or you might want to go to Cantona's book, or The Rebel Who Would Be King by Philip Auclair. I would say you go in depth into each topic rather than one book, because one book's only going to scratch the surface on stuff. I don't think it's going to go deep enough. Benjamin says, why does this feel like we are playing ourselves into some sort of form with these tough fixtures ahead? They might suit us. Being a team that's like getting good at transitions, we need a bit of space to run into, and these teams might be all having it, and then, we might be getting in the mix with it, I think. Matthew says Bruno has 6 goals against Leeds. Didn't even know what Leeds was until last season. That's good. Jim White's book is great for Manchester United history, says College Companion. Adrian says slowly getting there with Rangnick, I think. I think we are getting there with Rangnick. I think he's made tangible improvements to certain aspects of performance. The players are still letting him down at times, but it's getting there. JP says Maguire scores, but Milt turns quicker than him. Wan-Bissaka brutal to watch. Sancho and Victor were mustard. I could agree with that. Helen says, can I list the books that I just mentioned in the comments of the video? I'm going to do something on books because I get asked about books a lot. I do a lot of reading. It's the one thing that I do go and put myself to do, because I think reading's the best way to learn about stuff. There's a couple of blogs that I read. I have a bit of a list that I go through on a Monday. Total Football Analysis is one that's usually a really good one. That's paid like behind a paywall, but it's worth having. It's like £2 a month. Coach's Voice, when they do breakdowns, it's always worth listening to. There's also a lot of really cool interviews that are on there. They're typically the ones that I'll go to in the week. There's another one that I can't even pronounce because it's German, but all the articles are in English, and I just have a link saved on my computer. I'll dig that out. I usually typically have a look at over those, and that's where you'll sort of see like, an Atalanta coming from nowhere, or a Sporting coming from nowhere prior to them getting their arse handed to them by City. Here's all the ones that are like flying a little bit at the moment, give you a bit of an inside track on what they're up to. And then when it comes to books, I mean, I've got a load of books in here that I haven't read yet. I just as I'm scrolling through, Amazon's bitch, basically. They'll go, hey, would you like to buy this book? It's about fucking Cruyff's first 2 years at Ajax. And I'm like, yeah, I would like to buy that book. Or would you like to buy this one? It's about St. Pauli. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't like to. Or would you like to buy this one? It's about Brian Clough or Bayern Munich. And I'm like, yeah, and I just buy them. So I've got a shitload of books that I need. What I need to do is fuck off on holiday somewhere with all my books and just read them. Kay Slater says, if there are any top managers out there next season, then don't keep Ralph in that role. Bring in that manager, i.e. Ten Hag, and move Ralph upstairs. It's not a bad shout, is it? Tottenham City was a good game. Yeah, it was a good game, actually. Are Leeds supporters fighting with United supporters? Probably. When do I read? Usually late at night, or if I can get a fucking minute. I read in my loft. I also have Audible. I think I've got over 100 books on my Audible. Audible's my go-to. Let's have a look how many I've got. 152 titles I've got on my Audible. Zonal Marking, phenomenal. That's worth one. Barca by Simon Cooper. Danger Close, which was about, they've just finished that one last week, which was by Colonel Stuart Tootle, which was about the tour that I was on with 3 para in Afghanistan. I've got Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, Second Half by Roy Keane, Fergie's autobiography, something about pirates. The Club by Jonathan Clegg and Joshua Robinson's an excellent one about how the Premier League was started and how it made money. Das Reboot by Raphael Honigstein, who's just been appointed by Ralph Rangnick, is a sensational one. Johan Cruyff autobiography. Everything you think about football. Everything you think you know about football is wrong by Kevin Moore. Barcelona Legacy by Jonathan Wilson. Leading by Sir Alex Ferguson. Windswept and Interesting by Billy Connolly, which is read by him as well, which is sensational. The Football Men by Simon Cooper. Maradona by Jimmy Burns. Ronaldo by Gillian Balaguer. Why England Lose by Simon Cooper. The Price of Football by Kieran Maguire. How Football Began by Tony Collins. Gaza by Daniel Story. The Rum Diary, funnily enough. Michael Jordan by Lazenby. So tons of random shit on there, but I like my books. Am I crazy for wanting Ralph permanently? Says 3FHW. The team's similar to early Klopp at Liverpool. Not saying it'll get us there, but progress is tangible. I think the progress is tangible. Let's see what comes of that, because you don't know how it's going to end up the back end of this season. You might get someone better, more long term. Ralph's not that young either, is he? Let's be honest with ourselves. Pravin says Tielemans and Neves for centre of the park. I'm all about that. I think that'd be a fucking hell of a one. Alex says Steve need to do a book down instead of a rum down on a quiet Saturday night. Oh, it's a fucking whole different flavour, isn't it? Is Simeone a better tactician than Rangnick? I don't want to answer that question this week. Let's just give it a couple of weeks, eh? Daedric says, I want Ten Hag, but if Ten Hag says not this year, I'd defo keep Ralph another year. Is Ronaldo finished? I think it's far too early for that. He's not been playing great, but I don't think he's finished. I think you're also just seeing him adapting to a new system as well. Paul Lucas says, Johan Cruyff, what a player. I mean, how many players have a move named after them? Not that many, to be honest. But I actually think he's been more influential as a manager than he was as a player. Pinch says, which academy loan players would help replace the 10 that might be leaving? There's a video coming out on that one. Fred isn't as bad as I thought, says Travis. Book and Rum Club nailed it, says T. Kilgareth. Top Dollar says, are Maguire, Fred and McTominay United quality? Not first choice United quality, no. I think they should be squad players at best. Harry Callian says, Steve, you should write and publish a book on Paddock. Well, let's see what happens with us. Someone's actually pitched me doing a book for the building of the club that we're doing. But I haven't started writing it, and I'm too busy with everything else going on in my life. Also, we haven't achieved anything yet, so it would feel weird writing a book when we've not fucking done out. What's the upside for Elanga? What do you mean by that? Shane says, you praise Wan-Bissaka's position over Shaw, saying he stays back, and criticise Shaw on the back foot because he actually takes risks and goes forward, and quite good going forward. He is a left-sided defender. The clue is in the name. It's like saying I've got a goalkeeper who's shit at penalties, but he can't at taking penalties, but he doesn't save any. But you'd rather him be good at saving them, wouldn't you? There's no point Luke Shaw being progressive if he can cost us more goals than he creates. Tom says, I don't understand the hate on McTominay. He's Nicky Butt level and loves the club. I don't think he's actually Nicky Butt level, to be honest. Alex Bailey says, stay, I'm very down for the fan ownership of Paddock. Any news or updates on this? No, I have to, because there's a lot of legal terms get flung around by this. I have to make sure everything that comes out of this is watertight. The way it's going to work, in a nutshell, is we are having an app developed, and the app will serve as the hub of your membership. So I am going to be giving up my ownership of the team, and the ownership will transfer to what is called a community interest company. And then everybody who becomes a member will then be an owner of the club, because it'll be something, it's a community interest company, is a company for the interest of its community and therefore owned by its community. But you won't be able to sell a share. There won't be shares. It won't be listed on the stock market the way that it is with the Glazers. You as a member will have as much right of a say in the club as the next member, and we will have democratically elected fan representatives who will go and sit on the board. And then after an initial probationary period, I'm going to set the board in initially. And then following a probation period of 2-3 seasons, everybody's position on the board will be electable. Is it a pyramid scheme? Should I get in early? No, it's not a pyramid scheme, because you're not going to be able to sell or trade or make money off the fact that you're an owner. You're literally going to be able to have your say in running of the club. If Paddock is fan owned, does that mean you could be sacked as manager? Yes, theoretically. But it'll be voted on. So, theoretically. Should we go for a back five against Atletico to be safe away from home? No. No, absolutely not. Who would I start? Dalot or Wan-Bissaka? We'll get into that when I do my team this week. Don't worry about that. In my opinion, what do I think Elanga's potential ceiling is? Probably as squad player. And there's no harm in that. Do you have to live in England to be a part of the fan owners? No, you don't. It's going to be worldwide. You're not going to have to sack me either, because once we played in the FA Cup, I'm going to step aside. So don't worry about that. I know my own ceiling. No, it will be fan owned. It will be fan owned. It will be democratically elected. There will be issues raised that go to the club. There will be a fee for the membership. When we initially launch it, that first batch of people were going to be given the opportunity to be called founder members. Then that will close after a certain period, and then you will keep that founder member thing for the rest of the time that you're an active member. So and I think we're going to try and get certificates for the founder members as well. So I think it's quite an exciting thing, but there's a lot of legal things that you have to go through and things that you have to have in place and all that sort of stuff. So I'm very excited to be able to bring it to everyone. It's going to the fan membership is going to be a way for the club to transition from being paid subscriptions by the players to having those costs covered by the membership. So all of the coaches are volunteers, currently volunteers. It actually costs me to run the thing, but I won't be taking a wage out of it. I'll just stay on as volunteer manager. But what the membership scheme allows us to do is allows us to pay for training, allows us to pay for the stadium and all that sort of stuff without asking the players to contribute. Once we move it, memberships are going to be, the membership's probably going to be £5 a month. So it's going to be very affordable. That's it. We might make it that you can only be a season ticket holder if you're a member. So the season ticket might be on top of that, but it will be a very affordable membership that everyone can get in the mixer with. And the leagues that we're going to go and compete in, people want to be, people get paid at this level, not this level, but a little bit higher up. And currently our players pay subs, and I want to transition it into somewhere where the players don't pay subs, but they're not paid. So that will be the next step for us. Subscriptions is going to probably be either £5 a month or £50 a year, something along those lines. Saji says, playing Maguire and Shaw together is like sticking meat on your body and walking to a tiger. Two decisions are bad separately, together it's a catastrophe. Fucking poetic. Would I start Cavani against Atletico? No, I wouldn't, because I think he's took the piss lately. As much as I like him for 90 minutes when he's on the pitch, I think he's been a bit of a pain in the arse. Are the players at Paddock under contract? If they had a superstar, could they be sold? Not at the league that we're in. You're not allowed to be in a contract. I think if we move to the next level, which we are applying for, then yes, potentially someone could be sold, and obviously that would help with the running costs on the club. Is there a limit on the number of memberships? We have discussed having a limit on founder members, which might be around the 500 mark. Leicester have scored apparently. Not yet on my TV. This is so behind. This is Now TV. Miles behind. Michael's just punting it forward. If they score from this move, I'll be surprised, because they've got 8 back, Wolves. How are they going to score from here? Oh, what a ball. There you go. Centre it. There you go. 1-1. What a goal. If Sancho keeps his form, then could he take over De Gea as player of the season? He's probably going to have to finish now. Ian says, is the club semi-professional? No, it's fully amateur at the moment, and the players pay 35 quid a month subs, and that's what covers our training games and training costs and all the rest of that sort of stuff. Alex says, so Neves scores and then Tielemans assists. Are you kidding me? Get these two in a United shirt. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Oh, by the way, can we just talk about Bruno's involvement in that Elanga goal? Sweet baby Jesus. Landon Jamie says, Steve, where do we go with Rashford from here? Because Sancho and Elanga are on fire. Keep him out of the limelight. Fix whatever needs fixing with him physically and mentally, and start bringing him back into the fold. And I guarantee it's a form thing, this, not an ability thing with Rashford. With Maguire, I think his abilities are not suited to United. And I think that with Rashford, it's a form thing. His abilities are fine. He just needs to get back doing what he did. Anthony says, Lingard didn't really take his opportunity today. Bruno's flick reminded me of Giggs. I don't know if I remember Giggs doing that. Yeah, a lot of people mentioning Bergkamp doing that, but yeah, oh my God. Sachi says, today I found out Fred is Brazilian for the first time. Hensel says, Rashford will come good. It just needs his head in the game and we are good. What's my thought on Ronaldo leaving? Finish talk seems endless at the minute. I think he probably will leave. And ultimately, if we get someone in, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. How much do I reckon Neves and Tielemans would cost altogether? Probably less than 80 million. Probably less than 80 million. Righty, I'm going to call it a day there. Cheers for tuning in. I'm just going to post in the link for Paddock's game. So if you're interested in going and seeing how we did, it was a 9-1 thrashing. The link is there now in the chat. I'm going to see if I can pin it. But I'll also comment it in the video at the end once it goes live as well. So go and check it out and get in the comments. Get it in the comments that I've sent you from the review. And obviously there'll be more information when I've got it when it comes to what's going on with the fan ownership and membership and all that sort of stuff. But cheers for tuning in as usual. 5 things will be out in the morning. So come and check that out and I'll see you in the next one. Laters.